Ah, the great Arizona outdoors, full of beauty, diversity, and the wild things that make it complete. And when you think about the wild things that call Arizona home, these are probably some of the first that come to mind. Whereas if you think about the sounds of nature, the call of the wild, your mind is likely to conjure up a haunting, lonely howl that echoes through canyons and forests. But if you listen closely, the call of the wild actually has many subtle layers, including the distinctive song of the tiny southwestern willow flycatcher. This wild song can be heard in Arizona only at certain times of the year. After wintering in the milder climate of the tropics, the southwestern willow flycatcher returns to Arizona each spring to breed. Its breeding range also includes Southern California, New Mexico, the extreme southern portions of Nevada and Utah, extreme southwest Colorado, and western Texas. Arriving in southern Arizona in early May and continuing to disperse northward, the southwestern willow flycatcher occupies its favored habitat until about mid-August, when the fall migration takes it southward again. During its annual stay in Arizona's lower elevations, the flycatcher breeds principally in dense willow, cottonwood, and tamarisk thickets along streams and rivers, as well as in other lush woodland areas near water. When residing in Arizona's high country, the tiny songbird prefers streamside stands of Geyer willow. But no matter which elevation it chooses, one of the most important characteristics of the habitat is the presence of dense vegetation. In addition, almost all southwestern willow flycatcher breeding habitats are within less than 20 yards of water or very saturated soil because of the abundance of food. Good examples in Arizona are the lower San Pedro River and the lower Colorado River, which together support a large number of flycatchers in our state. The southwestern willow flycatcher is a small bird, usually a little less than 6 inches in length, including the tail, and it weighs about half an ounce. Overall, it's roughly the size of a small sparrow. Both sexes look alike, with a green-gray back and wings, and conspicuous light-colored wing bars. It has a whitish throat that blends into a light olive breast and a pale yellow belly. When perched, this bird characteristically flicks its tail slightly upward. As its name implies, the southwestern willow flycatcher eats flying insects, swooping gracefully from dense vegetation to catch them in midair. It also harvests insects from foliage and will occasionally eat berries. Upon arrival at its chosen breeding habitat, the tiny bird begins building its nest with shredded bark, cattail tufts, and grasses. The preferred site for this nest is usually in a branch fork in a willow that is located near water. Sometime in May or June, the female flycatcher lays 2 to 4 buff-colored eggs that she incubates for 12 to 15 days. After hatching, the young are cared for by both parents, and by early to mid-July, the young birds are ready to leave the nest. But the southwestern willow flycatcher breeding season does not always have this happy outcome. One reason for this is the brown-headed cowbird. The cowbird dumps the flycatcher eggs out of the nest and deposits cowbird eggs in their place. The flycatchers then either abandon the nest or raise the cowbird chicks, with the result that fewer flycatchers are born. As irrigated agriculture and livestock grazing continue to expand, so too does the range and abundance of brown-headed cowbirds. Another concern during the breeding season is the intensive use of pesticides in agricultural areas that are adjacent to nesting grounds. But the largest threat to the survival of the southwestern willow flycatcher is the loss, fragmentation, and modification of its critical breeding habitat. To date, the flycatcher has lost more than 90% of its habitat due to water impoundment, water diversion and groundwater pumping, channelization and bank stabilization, riparian vegetation control, off-road vehicle and other recreational uses, increased fires, and urban development. These factors have resulted in a definite decline in the number of southwestern willow flycatchers, such that fewer than 1,000 breeding pairs remain. More than half of those can be found at only 10 breeding sites, while the rest of the population is widely scattered and isolated. These alarming population statistics, as well as the potential for continued and additional threats, led to the listing of the southwestern willow flycatcher as an endangered species in 1995. Today, thanks to recovery efforts, some areas have experienced population increases and some riparian habitat restorations have successfully created new flycatcher populations. As part of the effort to protect southwestern willow flycatchers and their habitat, all construction projects are carefully designed to avoid or offset any harmful effects the proposed activity might have on the species. This allows development to proceed while supporting flycatcher conservation. Prior to construction, any potential southwest willow flycatcher habitat is surveyed to determine if the project site is being used as a breeding area. Seasonal restrictions can be placed on the project with no construction allowed during the breeding season. For projects that may require disturbance, ADOT has funded off-site conservation efforts. ADOT also implements monitoring programs when construction is taking place in known breeding areas, and your assistance is critical to the success of these efforts. So please take special care not to unnecessarily disturb or alter sensitive southwestern willow flycatcher habitat. And if you happen to see or hear one of these tiny songbirds, report it immediately to the project biologist. By helping to protect the flycatcher and its remaining breeding habitat, you will help ensure that this special call of the wild continues to be heard throughout Arizona.